Yes, okay. We have other questions? I know we do. We have one right in the middle here. Yes.
My concern is that when I go and try to do research to find scholarships and grants and things like that, I'm one of the kind of computer illiterates that Dee was talking about. I find it very daunting. I mean, it's almost like there's so much information on the net. You don't know which spots to trust and what not. And my other part of the question is, are you better off trying to go for scholarships on a local level or otherwise?
Eileen?
Those are great questions. There's a wonderful website called FinAid, FINAID.org. I would say it's the best financial aid information website in existence. It has information about all facets of financial aid, but also has a search engine for looking for private scholarships for which your child may be eligible to apply for. So it's a really great resource for you.
Kim, I know that you have done a lot of research in this area.
Right, I completely agree with you that there is a lack of clear and simple and objective information about financial aid. I find that many of the scholarship search engines are basically vehicles for advertising or marketing, the free ones. So if you endure lots of advertisements, you might get some information about a scholarship. I think the College Board actually has a very nice and non-commercial scholarship search engine, so I would check that one. Also, I think it does generally pay to look more locally for scholarships because, for example, the famous Coca-Cola scholarship has something like 200,000 applicants. So the large ones that are famous attract thousands and thousands of applicants, reducing your odds. So I think it's better to go for the local ones.
You have a website as well on interpreting
Financial aid letters,
financial
right.
aid letters, right?
Financialaidletter.com.
Financialaidletter.com?
Right.
Yes, because there are some rhymes.
No
in there.
ads. There are no ads.
No
I make
ads.
no money.
Are you working on that?
Absolutely no money on this.
Are you working on that?
No.
No? Okay, good.
No, I've looked at it. It's pretty good. I just want to
Yes,
add
Dee.
one more thing. Scams. You know, when it comes to finding financial aid, there are places out there that'll say for $1,000 we'll find you. You can do most of this, if not all of it, on your own. And finaid.org is a great website, but also there's a sister website, which is fastweb.com, which would also...
That's one of the ones I think is too marketing myself.
Too marketing?
I love
Okay.
FinAid, but...
Okay, but they're run by the same man. So, well, of course he has to make money.
You see why I set them together? Yes.
You get paid by the magazine, he doesn't yet. So, but there are places that you can look, but you're going to have to spend a lot of time.
Put your kid to work.
Pardon?
Right? Put your kid to work to do this.
Well, this is what I said. They're the computer literate in the family. Put them to work. No games, financial aid. That's
Let's see, 2 hours of financial aid searching and maybe a half an hour of games. Yes, okay.
The local scholarships are the most lucrative. Think of it in terms of applying for those national scholarships that you find in these databases is like winning the lottery, where you're competing with millions of other people. But on the local level, your child is competing with the other few hundred people in the graduating class. And there can be hundreds of thousands of dollars available from local organizations that are being awarded to the graduating seniors. And so the chances of winning are much greater, and also the amounts can be very good.
Yes, Kim?
Yeah, I think actually one of the best ways to increase your chances of getting an affordable college or a lot of aid is actually to do what I call put yourself on financial aid eBay. And that is to apply to lots of colleges, including many colleges where your kid is in the top 25% of the student body. As you mentioned, you can look up the statistics, what the average GPA is, the SAT score. So if you get many schools, see, when you fill out the FAFSA, you have to list the names of the colleges you want your financial aid application sent to. What you don't know is that the FAFSA sends that list to all of the colleges, so they know who they're competing against. So if your kid is a real catch and they see that they're having to compete against other colleges to try to get that kid, they're more likely to award aid. In fact, the research shows that students who apply to and get into more than 2 or 3 colleges get something like 30% more aid than those who apply just to their one dream school. So you want to create a little bit of a bidding war. I know no one's here is going to like me to say that. But once you get in and you get your financial aid letter, And if someone else offers you a better deal, then you call up school A and say, gee, school B thinks that we can only afford, $10,000. Why do you think we can afford $15,000? And they say, oh, send us more financial information. We probably will agree, so. In fact, for example, Carnegie Mellon and Harvard post on their websites saying, if you get an offer from a competing school that is lower than ours, send us the copy and we'll try to match it.
We'll match any offer, double money back. I've heard that line before from some other industry, I'm not sure. Yes, please, your question.
Hi. I'm curious as to what the impact to aid packages would be for parents who have planned well, who actually have money in a 529, or for families who come into like a one-time financial windfall, either money that's gifted to them or left to them, and obviously that gets reported in the FAFSA.
The assets that you hold in a 529 plan for any and all children that you have are considered an asset when you're filling out the FAFSA, and a proportion of that, a small percentage of that, becomes part of the family contribution. This is actually improvement over prior years when if you took money out of a 529 plan then and used it for college education, we used it as if it was a scholarship. Those are federal rules, not because we wanted to be mean. But nowadays, the feds have changed the rules, and it's much fairer. And the purpose was to encourage people to use things like 529 plans and save for college, so that instead of our looking at the entirety of your 529 plan, we're only looking at a percentage of it in a given year.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I hear often is parents complaining, it doesn't pay to save for college because then they'll just take it away in reduced aid. This is not true. Let me say, it is not true. This is a canard. When you save for college, as you mentioned, it's like they take something like 5% of your 529 savings per year. It's a very small percent, and the advantage of having those savings is so great, it greatly outweighs the little reduction in financial aid that you're going to receive.
Having those savings means no loans. That's the difference. It means no loans. And trust me, small amounts of money put away, just like I tell you about for your retirement plans, when the kid's still in diapers, gives you 18 years of savings. 18 years of savings, phenomenal. And now with the 529 plan, you can use those dollars free of taxes. This, again, is a gift. Massachusetts eventually, hopefully, like the other states, will actually give you some sort of a deduction for your contributions. But by saving early, you've already instilled in this child. Our granddaughter's 4.5, and she talks about college because that's what she hears. And so by the time they're 14, we're going to have that college conversation about where do you want to go. And just one thing, only 4,000 kids can get into UMass, and they're not all from Massachusetts. So, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. But what if you got a C student who can be successful, but needs a college education? Is not a commodity you can walk around saying, okay, which one of you guys want my daughter because she's the best in? Maybe she's not the best in anything, because people are average. That doesn't mean they don't succeed in life, but they're average. How many Indian chiefs do you need in college? The top 10%, do they only take the top 10%? Where do the other 90% go to school? This is what I worry about. I mean, we talk about this and we can be esoteric, but most of you have kids who are average, right? We think they're brilliant. I think my granddaughter's brilliant. She knows her alphabet. She's not going to get a full scholarship to Leslie. Probably not.
She hasn't filled out her application yet, have you?
No, but I'm working on it.
Whoa.
Trust me, I'm working on it.
I thought you were going there.
We'll talk.
Jack, rebuttal.
No, not a rebuttal, actually. I'd like to chime in support of that, because, we've talked a lot about the financial aid, we've talked about scholarships and so on, but there are other strategies and we talked a little bit about value purchasing, looking at the value. But I want to advertise a book, Debt-Free You, How I Paid for an Outstanding College Education Without Loans, Scholarships, or Mooching Off My Parents, by Zach Bissonette. And that book is full of great suggestions about how you reduce the cost of higher education. Some have been mentioned in passing here. First of all, graduate in 4 years. If you graduate in 4 years, you significantly reduce the cost of education, and a lot of students are going 5 and 6 years, and it's usually a student choice. They'll often tell you it's a different reason, but it's generally a student choice, the choices that get made.
They like it there.
Yeah.
They like the parties, yes.
I graduated in 4 years, but I did it under protest. I didn't want to leave. I have to say, I loved it there. Every part of it. They had to throw me off campus when I graduated. I understand that. But you know what? Graduate in 4 years. Live off campus when you can. Work in college during breaks. Get through your general education credits at a community college, if at all possible. Actually, my oldest daughter did that, went off to the community college, got her general education requirements, and then went off to a private institution with high tuition and fees, but it significantly reduced the overall cost, through the averaging on that. So there's a lot of strategies out there for the average student, because, most of us are average.
Yes.
And most of us are going to have a difficult time competing. And the other way to make yourself less average is to recognize that there's a lot of good schools out there. This obsession with getting into the greatest school, and then you go for your reach school, right? Well, your reach school is not going to be competing for you very much. That's come up. On the other hand, if you go for a school that is well within your reach, or where you're a little bit of an above average student, and it may be a very fine institution, you'd be amazed at where the CEOs of corporations
Yes.
come from, and various individuals. You have a much better chance of getting financial aid if you excel within the particular pond that you've just decided to enter.
Yes, Kim.
There's one other source of free money. There's a program called You Promise. Has anybody heard of this?
Yes.
You can sign up for it. You just register your grocery card.
Your
It
credit
doesn't
card.
doesn't cost, or your grocery cards.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't cost a penny, and they give you 1 cent or 5 cents back on
So
every
far, I have
purchase.
$79.
Okay.
In Kansas City.
But it's $79
Oh, wait,
you didn't
$79.
have.
I figure by the time she's in college, it'll pay for 1 semester of books.
Okay.
But you have to register your credit card.
Right.
But I've also registered my husband's credit card, her aunt's credit card.
She hasn't
But-
asked for my credit card number yet. Yes, we have a question. On this side, I know we have lots, and we're going to get to them. We're going to go speed answers soon. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I have a senior in high school. We've been planning with the 529s. We've been putting money in there. He's going to a college in Boston, and he got his merit scholarship already. My question is, we also have a freshman in high school. What's the best plan to utilize the 529s? Use the older ones, use as much as you can before you get a loan, or disperse it among the 4 years, et cetera?
Dee?
Well, what's nice about it, you can use it for both kids. And in your mind, I don't know about how you allocate things, but I know kids, having had 2, 6 years apart, number 2 expected everything that number 1 got, and already knew when she got it, why he should be able to have a car at 18, etc. So if you spend it all on number 1, number 2 is going to be pissed. So divide it equally. Figure out a way to do that. But I can tell you, kids keep score. They keep score. If you got 4 kids, they're keeping score.